My 8-year-old daughter, Emma, came into my home office on a Wednesday afternoon, holding her tablet. "Dad," she said, voice small and confused, "there's a strange car in our driveway every Tuesday." I looked up from my laptop. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" She turned the tablet toward me. On the screen was footage from the Nanny cam we'd installed in the living room, the one pointed at the front window. "I was looking at the recordings because I wanted to see Muffin being silly," she said. Muffin is our cat. "But I kept seeing this car, same time, every Tuesday, when you're at work." My stomach dropped. The footage showed a silver Audi pulling into our driveway, 10:47 a.m., every Tuesday for the past 6 weeks. A man got out, tall, well-dressed, confident walk. He didn't knock. He used a key. My key. The front door opened. My wife, Caroline, appeared in the frame. She was wearing the silk robe I'd bought her for Christmas, the one she said was too fancy for around the house. She wasn't surprised to see him. She was smiling. Then they disappeared into the hallway, toward our bedroom. Emma looked up at me with those big brown eyes. "Dad, who is that man?" I couldn't answer, because I was too busy watching the timestamp. 10:47 a.m., every Tuesday, the same time I was in my weekly management meeting, the one that always ran long, the one Caroline knew I could never leave early. She'd been scheduling her affair around my calendar. If you want to know what I did with that footage and why her lawyer called me 3 days later begging me not to release it, hit subscribe, because what that nanny cam captured wasn't just an affair, it was evidence of something much worse. My name is Jason Mitchell. I'm 41 years old, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had it all figured out. Good job as an operations manager at a logistics company in Charlotte, North Carolina, nice house in a quiet suburb with a 2-car garage and a backyard where Emma plays with Muffin every afternoon, and Caroline, my wife of 12 years, the woman I met at a company retreat, the one who laughed at my terrible jokes and said yes when I proposed on a beach in Wilmington. We weren't perfect, what marriage is, but I thought we were solid. I worked long hours, she worked part-time as a real estate agent, flexible schedule, mostly showings on weekends. Emma was in 3rd grade, happy, thriving, the kind of kid who still hugs you goodbye in the school drop-off line. Life was normal, until my daughter showed me that tablet. Let me back up to how the nanny cam got there in the first place. 6 months ago, we had a break-in. Well, sort of. Someone had tried the back door while we were at Emma's soccer game. Didn't get in, the deadbolt held, but it spooked Caroline. "I don't feel safe," she said that night, checking the locks for the 3rd time. "We'll get a security system," I offered. "No, those are expensive, and they require monitoring fees." She pulled out her phone. "What about one of those nanny cams? We can put it in the living room, pointed at the front window and door. If anyone tries to break in, we'll have footage."
It made sense. We ordered one on Amazon. One of those cameras that looks like a regular digital clock, sits on the bookshelf, blends right in. Motion activated, records to a cloud app. Emma thought it was cool. "Can I watch Muffin on it?" "Sure, sweetheart," Caroline said, helping her download the app to her tablet. "Just don't watch it all day. You'll get bored." We all had access. Me, Caroline, Emma. I checked it maybe twice in 6 months. Once when a package was delivered. Once when I thought I'd left the garage door open. Emma, though. Emma loved watching Muffin. She'd pull up the footage and giggle at the cat knocking things off the coffee table, or sleeping in a sunbeam, or chasing invisible bugs. Harmless. Until it wasn't. That Wednesday afternoon, when Emma showed me the tablet, I felt like the floor had opened up beneath me. I watched the footage 3 times. Silver Audi, 10:47 a.m., key in the lock, Caroline in the robe, both of them disappearing down the hall. The camera didn't show the bedroom, but it didn't need to. I knew. Emma was still standing there, waiting for an answer. "Dad?" I forced my voice to stay calm. "Sweetheart, that's probably just someone Mom knows from work. A client, maybe." But why does he have a key? Good question. I don't know. I'll ask Mom when she gets home, okay? Emma nodded, but she didn't look convinced. Kids have a radar for when adults are lying. Can I go play now? Yeah, go ahead. She left. I sat there, staring at the frozen image on the screen. Caroline, smiling, in the robe I bought her. For him. I didn't confront her that night. I know. Most men would have exploded the second she walked in the door. But I'm not most men. I'm methodical. I plan. I think 3 steps ahead. It's what makes me good at my job, and it's what kept me from doing something stupid. Instead, I played it cool. Hey, babe, I said when she got home from her showing. How was your day? Good. Showed a condo in Southend. Couple seemed interested. That's great. We ate dinner, helped Emma with her homework, watched an episode of some cooking show Caroline liked. Normal. Except I couldn't stop thinking about the footage. After Emma went to bed, Caroline poured herself a glass of wine and curled up on the couch. You okay? She asked. You seem quiet. Just tired, I said. Long day. She nodded, scrolling through her phone. I watched her. Really watched her. She looked the same. Blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, yoga pants and an oversized sweater. Wedding ring still on her finger. But I didn't recognize her. Who is this person? Who lies that easily? Who schedules an affair around their husband's calendar? That night, after Caroline fell asleep, I went into my office and pulled up the Nanny Cam app on my laptop. I scrolled back through the recordings. Tuesday, 6 weeks ago. Silver Audi, 10:47 a.m. Tuesday, 5 weeks ago. Same. Tuesday, 4 weeks ago. Same. Every single Tuesday, like clockwork. I watched each clip, watched him get out of the car, watched her open the door, watched them disappear. The visits lasted about 2 hours. He'd leave around 12:45 p.m., right before Emma got home from school at 1:15 p.m. Perfectly timed. I felt sick. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I made a plan. Step 1, don't let her know I know. Step 2, gather evidence. Step 3, talk to a lawyer. Step 4, protect Emma. That last one was the most important, because this wasn't just about me and Caroline anymore. This was about an 8-year-old girl who still believed her parents loved each other, and I wasn't going to let Caroline's choices destroy that. The next morning, I acted normal, made coffee, kissed Emma goodbye, told Caroline I'd be home late, client meeting. Then I drove to work and immediately called my buddy Marcus. Marcus had gone through a divorce 2 years ago, messy one. He'd told me stories that made me grateful I wasn't in his shoes. Now I was. I need a lawyer, I said when he picked up. What happened? Caroline's cheating. Silence. You sure? I have footage. Jesus. Okay, call David Rosen. He handled my case. He's expensive, but he's a shark. Thanks, man. Jason? Yeah? Don't do anything stupid. I know you're pissed, but don't tip your hand until you've got everything lined up. I won't. I hung up and dialed David Rosen's office. David Rosen looked exactly like you'd expect a divorce attorney to look. Mid-50s, gray hair, expensive suit, office with a view of uptown Charlotte. He shook my hand and gestured to a chair. Marcus speaks highly of you. What can I do for you? I pulled out my phone and showed him the footage. He watched without expression. When it ended, he leaned back. How long has this been going on? 6 weeks that I know of. Could be longer. Do you know who he is? Not yet. We'll need to find out. Name, address, employment, everything. How? Private investigator. I'll give you a referral. He pulled out a notepad. Let's talk about your marriage, assets, income, custody concerns. We spent the next hour going through everything. The house, jointly owned, but I'd put down the down payment from an inheritance. Retirement accounts, mine was significantly larger. Emma, no custody agreement yet, but I wanted primary.
North Carolina is an equitable distribution state. That means assets are divided fairly, not necessarily 50-50. The affair works in your favor, especially if we can prove she used marital funds to support it. How do we prove that? Credit card statements, bank records, hotel receipts, anything that shows she spent your money on him. I nodded. What about custody? Adultery doesn't automatically disqualify her as a parent, but if we can show she was engaging in the affair during times she was supposed to be caring for Emma, that helps. She was. Every Tuesday, Emma gets home at 1:15. He'd leave at 12:45. David made a note. Cutting it close, we can use that. I hired the private investigator that afternoon. His name was Ron, former cop, now ran his own firm. I need to know who this guy is, I told him, showing him the footage. Easy. I'll run the plates, get a name, and tail him for a week. You'll have a full report by Friday. That fast? Cheaters are predictable, Ron said. They think they're being careful, but they're not.
He was right. By Friday, I had a file. Name, Derek Hartman. Age, 38. Occupation, commercial real estate developer. Marital status, married, 2 kids. Address, Myers Park, $1.2 million house. Ron had followed him for 3 days. Work, home, gym. And on Tuesday, Derek's car was parked in my driveway at 10:47 a.m. He's careful, Ron noted. Doesn't take her to public places. Doesn't text her from his main phone. Probably has a burner. But he's not careful enough. Ron handed me another folder. This is his wife, Melissa Hartman. Works as a pediatric nurse. No idea her husband's cheating. I stared at the photo. She looked kind, tired, like someone who worked long shifts and came home to kids who needed dinner. You going to tell her? Ron asked. Not yet, I said, but I might need to. That weekend, I started pulling financial records. Credit card statements, bank transactions, anything that showed where Caroline's money was going. And I found it. Hotel charges. 4 different hotels over the past 6 months, always on weekdays, always charged to our joint card. Restaurants, high-end places I'd never been to. A jewelry purchase, $800. I'd never seen the jewelry. She'd been using our money to fund the affair. I made copies of everything, organized it into a folder, handed it to David on Monday. This is good, he said, really good. She's going to have a hard time explaining this. What's next? We file, serve her with papers, and we ask for temporary custody of Emma based on her conduct. When? How soon do you want to do this? I thought about Emma, about the footage, about every lie Caroline had told. Now. I didn't tell Caroline I was filing. I just did it. On a Wednesday morning, exactly 1 week after Emma showed me the tablet, a process server knocked on our door. I was at work. Caroline was home. She called me 10 minutes later. Jason, what the hell is this? What's what? Divorce papers. Someone just handed me divorce papers. I kept my voice calm. We need to talk. You're damn right we need to talk. You can't just... I know about Derek. Silence. Long, heavy silence. What? I know about Derek Hartman. I know about the Tuesdays. I know about the hotels. I have footage, Caroline, from the Nanny cam. I heard her breath catch. Jason! Don't lie to me. Not anymore. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. And now it's evidence. She started crying. Please, can we just talk about this? No. Talk to your lawyer. I'll see you in court. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but I felt clear. For the first time in a week, I felt like I was in control. Caroline hired a lawyer fast, some guy named Preston Hill, slick, expensive, the kind who advertises on billboards. We had our first mediation 2 weeks later. Preston came in swinging. Mr. Mitchell, my client is willing to agree to joint custody, a fair division of assets, and we can all move on from this unfortunate situation. David didn't blink.
Your client committed adultery, used marital funds to support the affair, and engaged in the affair in the marital home while responsible for the care of a minor child. Preston's smile faltered. Those are serious allegations. They're facts, David said. He slid a folder across the table. Nanny cam footage, financial records, private investigator's report. It's all there.
Preston opened the folder, started reading. His face went pale. Caroline was sitting next to him, arms crossed, trying to look defiant, but I could see the cracks. Preston closed the folder. We'll need time to review this. Take all the time you need, David said, but my client is asking for primary custody, the house, and reimbursement for funds used to support the affair. That's outrageous. It's fair, David interrupted, unless you'd like us to file a motion to include Mr. Hartman in the proceedings. I'm sure his wife would be interested in seeing this footage. Caroline's head snapped up. You wouldn't. I looked at her. Try me. That night, Caroline called. I didn't answer. She called again. I didn't answer. She texted, "Please, we need to talk, for Emma's sake." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "Emma is the only reason I'm not releasing the footage publicly. Don't push me." She didn't respond. The next mediation was different. Preston's tone had changed, less aggressive, more negotiable. My client is willing to agree to the following. Mr. Mitchell gets primary custody, Mrs. Mitchell gets every other weekend and 1 weeknight. The house goes to Mr. Mitchell, assets are split 60-40 in his favor. David looked at me. I nodded. Agreed, David said, with one condition. What's that? Mrs. Mitchell signs a non-disclosure agreement regarding the footage. It stays sealed. No one sees it. Not friends, not family, not the media. Caroline's head snapped up. You wouldn't. I looked at her. Try me. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. I got the house, primary custody, 60% of the assets. Caroline got visitation, her car, and a warning. If you ever bring Derek or anyone like him around Emma, I'll release the footage, I told her on the courthouse steps. Do you understand? She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry. I don't care. I walked away. That night, Emma and I sat on the couch with Muffin between us. Dad, she said quietly. Yes, sweetheart? Is Mom coming back? She'll visit every other weekend, but she's not living here anymore. Because of the man in the car? I looked at her. You knew? I'm not dumb, Dad. No, she wasn't. Yeah, I said, because of him. She nodded. Okay. We sat in silence for a while. Then she said, Dad, yeah? I'm glad you're here. I pulled her close. Me too, sweetheart. Me too. 6 months later, I got a call from an unknown number. Is this Jason Mitchell? Yes. This is Melissa Hartman, Derek's wife. My stomach dropped. How did you get this number? I have my ways. Her voice was calm, steady. I wanted to thank you. For what? For not releasing the footage. I know you could have. I know it would have made your case easier. How do you know about the footage? Derek told me after I filed for divorce. You filed? 3 months ago. I knew something was wrong. I just needed proof. When I finally got it, I was relieved. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for protecting my kids from seeing that, for keeping it quiet. You're welcome. She paused. How's your daughter? She's good. Resilient. Good. Kids are stronger than we think. Yeah, they are. We hung up. I never heard from her again. But I thought about that call for a long time. A year later, Emma and I were doing great. She was thriving in school, made new friends, joined the soccer team. Caroline saw her every other weekend. It was awkward at first, but they found their rhythm. I started dating again.
Nothing serious, just trying. One night, Emma and I were watching a movie when she said, "Dad? Yeah? Can we keep the nanny cam?" I laughed. Why? Because it helped us. It told the truth when no one else would. I looked at the little clock on the bookshelf. Still recording, still watching. "Yeah," I said, "we can keep it." Because she was right. Sometimes the truth comes from the most unexpected places. Sometimes it's an 8-year-old with a tablet. Sometimes it's a camera disguised as a clock. And sometimes the truth is the only thing that saves you. If this story hit home, comment "Truth Saves." If you've ever had to protect your kids from someone else's choices, if you've ever had to be the strong one when everything was falling apart, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more stories about the quiet strength it takes to rebuild. Because the best revenge isn't destroying them, it's protecting what matters most. Your kids, your peace, your truth.